video 5. So they're trying to have a monarch again, right? With this Baal worship, with Mr. Charlie and Diana, by having Michael go to Mr. Charlie and Diana after the cosmic convergence, planetary convergence, harmonic convergence in 1987, right? Okay, and in 1988, that situation was reported situation was reported to occur, right? Okay, that bullshit situation. Okay, and again, black Hebrew Israelites, grab your Hebrew DMT, black richly melanated Hebrew Israelite, grab your balls and speak the truth. Stop tiptoeing around something. It could have been, should have been, may have been. No, it is. It's a goddamn lie to steal your legacy. How poor are you do you want to be? You think they're getting those FEMA camps ready for nobody? Don't you see they're hiring for FEMA? FEMA's hiring? What do you think they're hiring for? Because they know you're going to be the only one that don't have shit. So that's what the way they're going to fast track black people, Hebrew Israelites, into slavery. Better get the reparation and not those goddamn 14 trillion. 44 trillion is what I want. It's what I'm demanding. Except nothing less. And that's not to be paid out to each and every individual. That's to go to bank accounts. A collective bank account, just like the central bank has, to build corporations, invest in Africa. And what they're trying to do in Africa, make you say, oh, Arabs don't want you there. Oh, there are black people telling you, you don't belong here, black American. No, bitches, you shut the fuck up. Africa's my home too, bitches. And I don't give a fuck what you say. It's my home too. Throw up my sign, bitches. You see that? That's my home, bitches. Alkebulan is my home. Alkebulan. All the way, bitches. Alkebulan. My home. You know, some African gonna tell. I don't give a fuck if it's the president. I don't give a fuck if it's the nation. I don't give a fuck who it is. Africa's my home, bitches. Where do you think we came from? Anyway. No, they're doing that so that you think, okay, I can't go to, why reparations don't invest in Africa? Because they know if you get when you get the reparations, to demand the reparations and get them, and Charlotte the 44 trill, and then what happens? You set up the account like the central bank, the Federal Reserve, invest in Africa, and you live off the residuals, generational wealth. They know you're going to be controlling Africa, East and West. They don't want that shit. So they got their little house niggas over in Alkebulan trying to tell you, spook you, don't come. We don't want you there, kick you out. Fuck you, bitches, we coming. That's our house, we coming home. Expect us like Pac said. Expect us like you expect Christ, because we're returning, bitches. And that's not to all the Alkebulan nations. That's to the ones who trying to play the goddamn game, the ones who are on the sucking dick for the Ashkenazis. Call the shit out. Stop biting your tongue. Be real. Enough playing games and being stupid. Speak the truth. What about your children? Yeah, you may have a bag for now, but you see they're trying to rock all of Motown. Which tells you they're trying to take every damn thing from you. You better stand up while you got a chance, trying to get you to run back to the plantation and seek safety and security in Obama? Really? And gave you shit? And you gonna run to his bitch ass? Seriously. Get off the goddamn bottle, pull your goddamn pants up, and start thinking. Stop playing so goddamn much and laughing so much. And start thinking critically, because it's time to save your lives. You see what they doing. You think, you see what they did to Trump. You see what they doing to the Jacksons. You see how many they got incarcerated. You see what Dr. Anderson said about 2050. You see them always trying to take your land, take your communities. Where are the jobs going to be? Taking your children's school, recreations, and all this. Letting all these illegals in the country, illegally. Even changing the laws for them to get in, to break the law. But your people are locked, my people, your brothers, your families are locked up for life. A life sentence in prison is a death sentence. It's just covertly stated. It's a death sentence. and it's inhumane. And Trump, I expect in the name of Allah, when you get in office, you rectify that shit. My black families, brothers and sisters, and all that shit, what you call it, did with that maximum minimum, and the FBI did with putting drugs in their communities to make that the only economy in their community, removing education. Because when the civil rights passed, right, they got now desegregation passed, and black people, DMT people could go to university and came back from Vietnam, right? And they could go to the universities. They got their what do they call those, the grants to go to the school, VA benefits, right? Then they put the drugs in the community, so they couldn't go to school. So no, Donald Trump, I expect you to overturn that shit and let those who have been convicted by under drug bullshit, you let them go and let them be rehabilitated, or the Republicans will pay in the next goddamn election. And another thing too, Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't trust his bitch ass. He does all that abomination talk. Right? Because if Trump picks him for the next picks him for his vice president, trust and believe he'll turn on Trump too. He'll turn on the whole MAGA. I don't trust him. However, he speaks very well, but you got to know the language in which he speaks. He said he would have a Democratic vice president if he became president. So then once you get to clean the house and get him out under Ramaswamy, if he was Trump's vice president, what would happen? What would happen as Trump's vice president? Trump has 4 years. Though Trump's term comes to its conclusion, Ramaswamy going to try to be the next president. That's what his bitch ass is working so hard for. What you need to do, Trump, is make him press secretary. He'd be a very good press secretary. But as far as vice president, I'm sorry, I can't support that. I will end my support for Trump if he dared put Ramaswamy as his vice president. Because he ain't good for the country. He ain't good for Hebrew Israelites. He ain't good for Trump. He ain't good. Well, if he's speaker of the press secretary, that'd be great. That'd be fun to watch. He'd be great to watch there. But the MAGA is too young to hand over to somebody like that. MAGA is too young to give right back to the Democrats. Hand over right back to the Democrats who tried to destroy them, the country, and the world. Can't do that. You got to pick somebody strong, somebody like himself. Okay, Trump, I'm talking to you. You need to pick somebody like yourself. Somebody that we trust, competence we trust, and we love. Because you have your record of doing well for America. You're the best president America has ever had. Okay? Anyway, and congratulations for the success in New Hampshire, as well as the other one, primary. Okay? Now, so again, going back to the financial sponsorship, okay, the remix of the color purple, right, was to cast the stars in an ungodly, to cast the stars, right? So that was the casting of stars. That was a casting of stars. And then the people were the DMT Hebrew Israelites were to give their energy to watching that negativity. Then they were to usurp that energy, because remember, they released it they released it at Christmas. So they released the movie in Capricorn, right? That's the sword, right? Saturn represents the sword. So released it in Saturn, right? And so people were to go give their energy. They were to harness that energy about the Jupiter, right? Remember, Jupiter was to give their energy, right, as it relates to the charges against Berry Gordy and Jermaine Jackson. Now, to say that Berry Gordy does not have any charges is the same as saying that Jermaine doesn't have any allegations. Allegations weren't made against. There are no charges, alhamdulillah. But what I'm trying to say, there's allegations made against Berry Gordy and allegations made against Jermaine Jackson. So if allegations were, and they are Sagittarius, they are Jupiter, right? So that they're making it about the allegations about Jupiter, right? The avatars of Jupiter, right? The embodiment of the planetary avatar Jupiter, right? And they released it in Saturn, right? Or Capricorn, right? Now, so that's to cut off the Hebrew Israelites, right? Because the Hebrew Israelites is represented by, no. So the Hebrew Israelites is represented by Michael, right? Okay. Now, so, the Hebrew Israelites are represented by Michael, as Michael was to be the one to lead them out of slavery, out of bondage, right? So Michael was to lead them out of bondage. So accusing Jermaine is trying to keep them in bondage, right? And then they're trying to use this purple shit, shit, right? They're trying to use this Urkel shit to try to keep them in bondage by making them focus on it, right? And then keeping them dragged down so they can take their energy, right? And bring down the stars. So they cast some stars negatively and then use some stars, the stars, Motown, to bring down Motown by calling up by using the power of Berry Gordy as it relates to 1929, as it relates to the collapse of the stock market, right? Because they want to bring down the wall, the celestial wall. The celestial wall is a constellation that encircles our solar system, right? The constellation is known as Draco the Dragon. Draco the Dragon, the head being in Cassiopeia, beat the cat's eye, represented by the cat's eye, right? So that is the wall, right? Meaning the dragon's body, that represents the wall, the celestial wall. And the celestial wall is represented by all the 12 constellations, right? The stars, right? So they want to bring that dragon down, right? Okay. And they got to collapse the wall like the collapsed Wall Street. So the wall is considered to be, now they're considering the wall to be the body of stars of Motown, right? Because each of those individual celebrities represent a star as it relates to their sun house, right? Where they come from, whether it be Aquarius, Pisces, Sagittarius, Leo, or Libra, or Taurus, or what have you, right? That's a wall. They come from that wall of stars, and those stars, that wall protects the solar system, right? From other entities enter. It prevents other entities from entering, right? So, okay, so now other entities can't enter, so they got to try to break down the wall. So the wall is represented by Motown, as it represents by the constellation, as it represents by the body of stars. Okay, so, and they want to break that down so those entities can enter, so they can bring in what they would consider, okay, the dragon, meaning the beast, right? And the beast has already fallen, right? Okay, now, and that's represented by Berry Gordy as it relates to Jupiter, as it relates to 1929, right? Okay, so now, as I said, okay, so, and purple is the color, purple, okay? Purple represents the red of the fire, right? The red of the fire, as in, Aries, red, right? And blue as it relates to, as it relates to water, right? As it relates to water, right? So this is purple is red and blue, red and blue representing purple, representing royalty, okay? So now it represents the fire. No, it represents the fire of it represents the father of the mother, the fire of summer, right? It represents the fire of summer, the fire of Cassiopeia, right? The heat. Okay, when the woman, let's say the woman is in heat, that's what summer represents, a woman being in heat, celestial heat, because that's when Ceres appears. The sun and Ceres unite, right? So purple represents the unification of Ceres and the sun united, right? Ceres or Osiris. Osiris and the mother, the Holy Mother, united, right? Okay. So, and it also represents the sun, Leo, becoming the king, right? He becomes the king when the Ceres and Leo unite, right? Okay, that's when he becomes the king. And the Ceres is represented by red, by the woman, by the heat, right? By the fire, right? No, not by fire, by the blood and the fire. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's very wrong. Purple represents red and blue, fire and ice. That's what it represents, fire and ice. Now, because ice is so cold out there where Ceres is, it's ice, and it's hot, right? It's hot. Leo is hot, fire and ice, right? Red, fire, ice, blue, fire and ice, red and blue, purple. The union between the mother and the father, intercourse, love, divine love. Purple represents love, right? The union between man and woman, right? The divine union between the masculine and the feminine. And when it represents when Osiris becomes a man, becomes a king, right? Thus the king in Leo, he becomes the king, right? So he becomes the king starting from Aries, and he goes through the celestial plane. Then he intercourses with the mother, right, to become a man, right? And the woman becomes a queen, right? Because they become parents, right, of another nation. When the child is born, that's a new nation, okay? So that's what purple represents, right? Okay. The man and the female, fire and ice, red. Fire being Leo, ice being Isis, right? Osiris being the king in Leo because of the child, right? Because he's really the father. He's the father to be at Aries, right? Then he is the father when the child is born. When he fathers a child, that's not the child is born. When he fathers a child in Leo, right? He fathers the child in Leo, right? Okay, and becomes a king, right? Okay, the king. Then he becomes a king. Okay, okay, and all of that is not just a tale. It reflects events that occur celestially. It reflects the celestial procession. We're going to go to video 5.